Unbelievably delicious handcrafted milkshakes and chocolates like the famous chocolate bark. Try the mouth-watering chocolate-dipped strawberry shake. Family-friendly fun and unforgettable shakes await. Milkshake Factory now open at Breakfast Point Marketplace near Publix next to First Watch on Back Beach. Milkshake Factory.
WGSX Lynn Haven, W Field, Q Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios.
There's no need to fear.
The Underdogs are here. The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
What time is it?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And a good afternoon, Northwest Florida. This is the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're coming to you live from the CBC Construction Studios. Visit their website at cbcconstruction.com. James 5 here. LSU Jeff, how is the day?
Day's going great.
And we got Bone Crusher back there, hitting the ones, hitting the twos, turning the mics up. Yeah. All right, guys. We are here. We are live, and you can call the show. You can text the show. Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Download our app. We are on the Apple App Store. We are on the Google Play Store. So download the app. You can find it ESPN Northwest Florida. Visit the website, espnpc.com. Flags are yellow out there today, so head on out and enjoy the beach, though it is just a little bit cloudy, just a little bit rainy. But that cold cloudiness might actually make the beach a little bit more tolerable, and you won't bake and fry yourself. So, but be careful. Just because we got cloud cover out there doesn't mean you won't get sunburned. You can still get sunburned with the cloud cover. So be careful, everyone, on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Sad news today. I learned this morning, and I'm pretty sure most of you out there have heard about it, but Terry Bollea, better known as Hulk Hogan, has passed away at the age of 71. He was living down here in Florida, like, you know, a lot of retirees do, and 911 gets called out to a house for a cardiac arrest. It happened to be the Hulkamaniac himself, so condolences heading on out to Hulk Hogan and his family and basically all the wrestling fans out there. We'll have Brian Haddad on tomorrow, and we are trying to get a hold of Monty and the Pharaoh to join him as well, and we'll have a nice long talk about Hulk Hogan, his impact on wrestling, and maybe even the future of wrestling now that he is gone. Even though he's not been huge part of it in the last couple of years, his name was still always involved because he basically took it in the 80s and made the WWF, now the WWE, into mainstream, their, 3-4 nights a week now, entertainment. So Hulk Hogan, dead at the age of 71. Any of you guys got any memories of the Hulkamaniac?
What was that TV show he did back in the 80s with the boat? Remember that?
I remember him on a show. I don't, and it was like an action type, action hero type show. I do remember that. I don't really remember watching a whole lot of it, but I want to say it was like Tropical Thunder or something.
Oh, it was. I think it was something along that lines of the name, yeah.
Yeah, because he did that for, it lasted a season or two, so it was.
So he had his own cartoon. He had his own cartoon on Saturday mornings.
I did not remember that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Was it was it a wrestling cartoon, or was it something?
No, I think it was like saving people or something like that.
Okay, so something similar to the TV show that he had where he's playing a
Thunder in Paradise.
Thunder in Paradise. There we go. Somebody has found the name.
Yeah.
So still kind of the same principle, being, the hero in the cartoon as well as being the hero on the TV show. And at the time he was wrestling with WWF, he was the hero there. He wasn't the bad guy until he rolled on into WCW. There we go. And that's where he had his the the heel turn, as they like to say in the wrestling world.
As far as action figures go, I think before him was, of course, the Star Wars thing just blew up with the little action figures, you could play with as a kid. And then the Hulk had action figures. Yeah,
he had I remember he kind of he had the stuffed plushie thing, and he had one of my friends had if you remember Stretch Armstrong.
Oh yeah.
He had a Hulk Hogan and a Macho Man Randy Savage. You had both of them Stretch Armstrongs where you could pull them and tug them. And eventually, we pulled on it so hard that the gooey stuff in the middle started going everywhere, and we lost an arm and lost a leg. But we were kids playing with a toy. What did you expect?
I mean, when I think of characters from wrestling, which I wasn't a huge watcher of it at all, but I really think that Hulk was probably, he's got to be number one. If he's not, he's number two. I thought Macho Man Randy Savage was
that's another big name.
I mean, his character was memorable, and there's no one like him, and they just kind of they're a trademark.
Yeah, the big three for me that I remember from my childhood, because I didn't watch a lot of wrestling after the early 90s, but I remember Hulk Hogan, the Macho Man, Andre the Giant's another big one that I do remember as a young man. And those were all the big names.
Yeah, and then I really admired Hulk because when he talked about Andre the Giant, he said, he taught me this and he taught me that, and he taught me about showmanship, how to create suspense and all that kind of stuff. And so it's acting advice from Andre the Giant, and he was giving him, props, and I thought that was really cool because, some of these guys get a big head and they think that their persona takes over and the macho-ness takes over, especially, I'm not saying if you took roids or not, but, those guys get a little carried away.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all those guys were doing some roids. I mean, I'm fairly confident on that one. Let's go just look at them real quick.
No. Hogan is admitted to steroids.
I think most of them. I think most of them have by now because just look, it was popular back then. I mean, even baseball was doing it back then. That was the time period in the mid-late 80s. Let's look at Mark McGwire when he got into the league in 87, 88, and then let's go look at Mark McGwire when he was playing for the Athletics in that World Series. It was about twice the man that he was.
Right.
He got huge. I mean, let's look at Barry Bonds. Look at Barry Bonds when he was in Pittsburgh. He was 6'4", 6'5", and 185 pounds soaking wet. Now let's go look at Barry Bonds when he gets to San Francisco. Yeah, he ain't no 185 no more. No way. We know that was happening.
Now, all of this is allegedly. We're not liable for any lawsuits.
Yeah, allegedly.
This is all just allegedly. Now, see,
I'll say they're all on roids. They're all a bunch of cheaters. They all got taken out of the record books.
No, but see, you're a baseball, so you think of all the baseball guys. But to me, when I think of steroids, actually, I think of Lalo Zato from the Raiders and how he got brain cancer and passed away. But above that, I'm not saying Arnold Schwarzenegger, but
Oh, I wouldn't doubt
the
that.
guy was massive.
Oh, most of those guys that do that, I would say probably to bulk up that quick. Some of the times you got to get some assistance, more than just a personal trainer assistance.
And then I think he's actually probably Hulk Hogan's age because 71. That makes about sense because, when I was born, Arnold Schwarzenegger was winning the
Mr. World.
Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
I get it wrong.
Okay.
And actually he won 7 titles, but they weren't consecutive. And then Lee Haney came around in the 80s, and he won 7 consecutive. So his record was tied, but Lee Haney was.
But he did it in a row.
Yeah, and I was. I don't say I was into bodybuilding, but I really enjoyed watching the Mr. Olympia contest. Yeah, for sure.
Some of those dudes got muscles sitting on muscles, and I'm like, how do you do that?
Oh my God!
You'll see him flex a bicep, and then out of nowhere, there's this other bicep. I'm like,
oh yeah.
Huh? How did you do that?
And then you'll hear him talk about oh, this is how I work this little tricep extension little muscle right here, and it's you do a specific exercise for that little tiny muscle, and then you see their back muscles, and when they spread it, you're like, oh my God, it's like wings are coming out.
Oh, their
lats and everything is and then upper all the way to the traps and everything's that's where most of your muscles are, is in the back.
And I mean, and the poses that they take out there are on purpose so that way you see those little, muscle that's behind the elbow when you're, that's what they're doing it for. Is so you see that they've done that muscle.
And you'd see them like they get in the mirror, and they're practicing for hours. It's crazy.
Yeah,
They get kicked out of Planet Fitness.
All right, guys, we're 24 hours, but we got to close. We need you to leave. That's how it works over there. Let's get into some other news and notes of the day. What did we see? You were telling me about the Browns with their helmet and the new helmet and the release. Go ahead and explain it to the people.
Well, they had a tarp over the big helmet, and this helmet must have been at least 18, maybe 20 feet tall. It was a huge helmet. And they had the tarp over it, and they're pulling the tarp off of the helmet, and it's like on the edge of the lake or pond, and they're not even halfway pulling the tarp off. And then I don't know if it was a photographer or what it was, but the guy fell in the water, and then somebody went over there to try and get him out of the water, and it was just kind of comical. But the big joke that's going around, that's basically going viral right now, is that not only the helmet's brown, like poop brown, but their uniforms are too.
Yep.
And then, of course, the best joke of all is that it's sponsored by Dude Wipes.
Does it say Dude Wipes on the helmet somewhere?
No, it doesn't say Dude Wipes on the helmet, but on every advertisement that it has for the new logo and everything, there's the Dude Wipes symbol. Wipes. And it's like, come on, guys, do better. And it's funny because we were just talking about worse helmets and everything, and I mentioned it's the Browns.
The Browns,
yeah,
and their orange helmet that's not brown. Well, it's kind of brown now.
It's how now, Brown Cow?
How now, Brown Cow? She sells by the seashore.
Yeah.
No, it's it's a new helmet. I can say that. I can absolutely say that it's a new helmet. Basically, all they've really done is, so the old helmet was the orange, and then they had the tri-stripe down the middle, brown on each side, white going down the very center. And basically, it looks like what, to me, they've done is they've just flip-flopped that brown and the orange stripe. Now it's, an orange stripe next to the white, and the rest of the helmet is now brown.
So, I mean, basically, they just did just what the Saints just did, because the Saints have a gold helmet and in a black fleur-de-lis, and they flipped it. They're going to wear it this year. It's a black helmet and a gold fleur-de-lis. Okay. So they flip-flopped their colors, and that's basically what the Browns just did. But to be honest with you, I think it was ESPN Baton Rouge. They were talking bad about the new Saints helmet, and I was like, you better check the comments, because I'll tell you what right now, 99% of the people love the new, it's not officially new helmet, but it's going to be featured this year.
Yeah, new design.
They love the Saints helmet. I mean, for the most part, people are like, oh, yeah, that looks bad. That looks good. Bad isn't good.
Yeah, bad isn't good. Because they had the, some of the one-off helmets for like the Thursday nights. I kind of remember like a white helmet with the gold fleur-de-lis. I want to say for like some of the Color Rush games or something like that.
They did have that.
Which it wasn't a bad-looking helmet, but I'm not a huge fan of predominantly white helmets. I just want more color, to my watching day.
So you know how Penn State does the whiteout games?
Yes.
They were joking that the Browns are going to do brownout games.
Actually, I think that's no. See, here I'll explain to you how my viewpoint works on this. So when I was playing hockey, we used to go to stadiums, and they would have whiteout games in the stadiums. So they would have white, they'd give everybody a white shirt to wear. So everybody in the stadiums, wearing white. Mm-hmm. And the shirts would be sitting on the chairs, over the chairs. So the chairs would also be white as well when you're looking out.
Oh, okay.
And most people think, oh, man, that's got to be hard to see. But the thing is, as a goalie, it was easier for me to pick up the puck with all that white background.
Oh, yeah.
Because you just made the whole background behind everything I'm looking at white, as opposed to when I was usually looking at it, I could follow it up to the white boards, and then the background on, usually the chairs and everything like that are a darker color.
Yeah.
But because they made everything white, if a puck got up a little bit higher, I could still keep up with it a lot easier than I did. So for me, saying you're going to do a brown-out football game, what color is the football?
Brown.
So you could, if you get it up, and guys are looking at it, they might be able to lose it just a little bit into the crowd that's wearing all brown. So, no, I like the camouflage idea. There we go. They're thinking now, boys. They're thinking.
Well, when you mentioned about the whiteout at hockey and all that, it just reminds me of Cameron. What's it called? Cameron Arena? That's a Duke's University basketball court. Cameron.
I think so. I've never been.
Cameron something. Anyway, they have the guy behind. Everybody drops down, and then the one guy would do like his little dance and all that with his shirt off and everything to distract the guy shooting the free throws. And he did that, and he's famous for that. And it's just hilarious because you have a clear backboard.
Yeah, and you can see right through it.
You can see right through it. And this guy was doing his little thing, and they did a ESPN story on that guy, and he actually met his wife at that basketball game, the guy with the shirt off and everything.
I like the way you distract the players.
It was the nipples. No, he what was it? Oh, the guy talked about it. The guy that was actually shooting the free throws, he missed like both the free throws when that guy did that, and it was just perfect.
It's one of those that I see a lot of creative things behind the backboard when that's happening. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good one though, right? Yeah. Right there, because I could see that one. Like everybody else is just totally dead silent still, and then you just got one guy giving you a dance. You're just gonna have to look at it and go, What am I looking at? You just got that thought in your head, even though you're trying to hit that free throw. You just see that, and you just have to have that thought. What is going on here?
So this is what they did at LSU, even before Shaq was there for basketball games. They would announce all the LSU players, and then announce the opposing team, and then everybody would pick up a newspaper. And as they're announcing like the starting lineup of the other team, everybody would pick up the newspaper and place it in front of them, like facing the court. And then as they're announcing it, they would shake the newspaper, and it would make the noise.
You just hear that.
You just hear nothing but newspaper just shaking, and you wouldn't hear who the starters for Alabama or Auburn were.
No, like it. Yeah, I like pregame. Colleges are great about having some really good pregame festivities, and if you look at it, it's usually started by the student section somewhere, and then just like spreads. I love that.
And it might have been influenced by alcohol.
Yes. I mean, you can't take it in there, but, you see guys in there, drinking out of Clorox bleach containers. Guarantee you it's not Clorox bleach in there. I know what's in there.
The boot flask has been invented probably by students.
Oh, God, yes.
I'm sure.
I can remember, like, back at Western Kentucky games before they cared if you brought stuff in. People would have camel packs underneath the shirt.
Wow.
Because they weren't patting you down. You just paid for your ticket and walked in. So, if you got a jacket on, you got a camel pack hidden, take the jacket off and bring the straw out. Woo! We're having fun, boys!
Great memories.
Oh, God, yeah. And that was back in the day when they wouldn't sell alcohol at the stadium. So, no, that's how you had to sneak it in.
And now they're finally starting to approve alcohol being sold, Penn State, LSU, and all that. But what they don't tell people is that they're only the alcohol is only available in certain sections.
Right. That's what Western did. Like Western... And what I really hated about it is like they only put it in the club level section. So you had to have a club level ticket to get into the area where the beer sales were. So I hated that one. It's like, come on, let the students in there. Yeah. That's where you're going to get most of your money from anyway, is the students getting on that.
They can drink people under the table.
Oh, God, yeah, that's why they're there. They're there to watch the football game and to have a lot of fun. Yes, they are. So I didn't like that, but their whole reasoning was, well, we're just trying to make sure it's only for the adults. I'm like, you're saying you don't sell any kid tickets to the club level that goes with their dad? Not buying it, guys. It was just basically one of those that they didn't want to have it all over, the stadium. And I'm like, well, I mean, we can walk into the parking lot right now, and there's nothing but beer cans all over the lot.
So we had season tickets to LSU football in high school and junior high. And then when I got to go in the student section, became student there, I'll never forget, I was sitting next to some frat guys, and right behind me, they broke a glass Crown Royal bottle that was practically full.
Oh,
they cracked it, and all the bourbon, and I was like, oh my God. It was like It was like bourbon right here.
Oh, yeah, the great
And I was
smell
just
of it.
smelling it for the next,
Now, was it a hot or cold game? Because I can imagine if it was a cold game, you might smell it a little longer than a hot game.
It was
on a hot game, it would evaporate pretty quick.
It was a hot game, yeah. It was a hot game.
So it probably evaporated pretty quick.
Not quick enough.
Yeah. I was getting drunk off the smells, boys.
Yeah, pain.
All right. How are we doing on time? Well, we are doing pretty well on time. In fact, we're doing so great on time that when we get back, talking to our great friend Alan Watson, owner of Golf Plus. You are tuned in to the Afternoon Underdogs, coming to you live from the CBC Construction Studios, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Red 70s studio line is now open. 850-215-6290. Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Thursday. Definite thunderstorms and sprinkles the remainder of the day with a wind out of the south-southeast at 15 miles per hour and 85. Tonight, look for a mixture of mostly clear skies and a likelihood of thunderstorms with a temperature near 80. Tomorrow, high around 88 and a variety of mostly sunshine and likely thunderstorms. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Tired of boring merch and want your brand to stand out like the big names? Elevate your look with Red 7 Tees. They don't just print shirts, they create bold identities. They are a veteran-owned custom apparel shop providing the kind of detail that turns heads, using high-quality digital printing and embroidery to give you that unique style you love with no minimums or cookie-cutter designs. From small business to sports teams, if you've got a vision, they'll help you wear it proudly. Visit red7tees.com.
Are you hungry for authentic Mexican cuisine? Then come to El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, where we serve up the freshest, most flavorful dishes on the beach. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, a great location, comfortable atmosphere, and happy hour from 3 to 7. Buy one, get one free, regular margaritas and 12-ounce house drafts. And you're going to love their lunch specials Monday through Friday from 11 to 3. Plus live music Wednesdays and Saturdays starting at 5:30. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, Thomas Drive across from the Navy base.
And 10908 Front Beach Road.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. For everything in the world of golf, it's the Watson Report. Thursdays at 4:20 with Alan Watson from Golf Plus. ESPN Northwest Florida.
It is the Afternoon Underdogs coming to you live from the CBC Construction Studios. Visit the website, cbcconstruction.com. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is where your radio dial is currently. Red 7T's phone line is how you can get a hold of us here at the show, 850-215-6290 if you want to call or text us right here. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Download our app. Take us with you everywhere you go. And visit our website, ESPNPC.com. And ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast this Friday. 5:50 for the pregame, 7:05 for the first pitch. We will be taking on the Rangers of Texas. Atlanta Braves baseball on ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored locally by Bill Bird Kia, PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hewitt Tire and Auto, and Hometown Towing. On the line with us now, great friend of the show, Alan Watson, owner of Golf Plus. Hey, Alan. What do we need to say when we come into Golf Plus today?
Well, if you mention the inside drive, you're going to get 20% off a hat or a pair of shoes. Just check in with my guys, and they'll get you that deal. So yeah, that's the thing we've been kind of special we've been running this week for the Inside Drive listeners and the ESPN Northwest Florida family.
There you guys heard it. Head on over to Golf Plus, walk on in, shout out Inside Drive, and discounts magically come your way. Thank you, Alan Watson. Thank you. All right.
No problem, man.
All right. So Open last week, Scotty Scheffler looked pretty good. Say he pretty handedly won that tournament. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he just crushed it. I mean, he's so dominant and in such an unassuming way. I mean, the guy acts like he doesn't even care that they're going to give him a trophy and a big fat check. I think that it's something we haven't really seen as much of, especially in the world of golf. You know, not that golf's a flashy sport, but we're used to when you see a dominant player, we think of Tiger or Jack or somebody, and they had a more aggressive approach, you know, and Scotty just kind of goes out there and does his business, and his business is really good these days. And for the last 24 months plus, he has been the dominant golfer, and you know, he's the kind of guy that most people wouldn't even recognize him if they saw him in the grocery store. But he's not a household name outside of golf, but in the world of golf, he is truly number one.
Yeah, he is, let's just say the last year that the man has had, dominant is the word I would choose for Scotty Scheffler over the last year. Now, my favorite highlight that I got to see from the Open was from Rory McIlroy and his magic trick on making the ball appear from the rough. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
No, I didn't actually see that. I'm assuming what happened was he hit a ball, or was hitting at a ball in the rough, or had taken a practice swing or something, and something that was buried down there kind of popped up.
Yeah, he was somewhere on the back nine in the rough next to the water, has his chip, you know, one of like a 9-iron, something like that, to chip it on out to get it over onto, I do believe, the green. And you see him, he reaches back, hits the ball, lands it to the green, but as soon as you see him hit the ball, you see one ball flying forward, and then you just see another ball pop straight up into the air.
And some grass.
Yeah,
and some grass with it.
Buried under the ground.
So he...
I didn't see that.
Yeah, so you just see him like pick up the ball and, you know, like show everybody. So it was that was pretty crazy wild.
Well, he had a worry in his look in his eyes, like, I hope it hit the right one.
Yeah. I mean, and if you watch the replay,
sure,
you can see that he does hit the ball, the only ball you can actually see in the frame. He hits it, and then if you watch it in slow-mo, you just see this other one right behind it pop straight up.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly happens on the golf course. I've unearthed all sorts of things hitting golf balls, and I've also, you know, it just, stuff happens. Sometimes balls get hit by mowers and get broken into pieces and then kind of shoot off, and then they get buried, and then they reappear. Sometimes entire golf balls obviously go missing, and so, yeah, I mean, it could definitely happen, but that is wild. I wish I had seen that.
So if nobody saw, like, second ball there, is there any kind of rules or regulations that he could have broken in that situation?
No, not in that case. So the only, so you have to play your ball, which he did, right? And his ball is easily identified. It has his name on the side of it and everything. So, I mean, that, as long as he played at his particular ball, there's no penalty if there was something underneath his ball that no one would have known about. There are rules against playing your competitor's ball. There's rules against hitting your competitor's ball. You know, like if you go out of the fairway and you play the ball and then you realize, oops, I played the wrong one. Obviously, that's a penalty. You know, there's even a rule about not hitting your other competitor's equipment. So, like if the other player's caddy was standing up by the green holding his bag, and you chipped it really hard across the green and you struck the bag or a club that the other player had left laying around, I mean, that's a penalty on them for not having their stuff in the way, but whatever. So there's just a lot of different crazy, not crazy, but, you know, there's a lot of rules. But in a normal course of play, stuff like that is so rare to have happen. But he would not have been penalized just for unearthing another golf ball that had been there that nobody knew was there.
So, but there's no penalty. So, like, say I hit the ball and my ball goes, I hit it from the tee, goes 200 yards, lands on the fairway, and rolls into the other guy's ball. I'm not penalized for that, though, right? Because
no.
Okay.
So this actually happened. This actually happened in an LPGA, so a ladies PGA event several years ago. A girl hit an approach shot onto the green. It was a really good shot, and then another girl hit her shot, and they literally came to rest side by side. They were basically kissing each other, these two balls, right? So at that point, obviously, they had to mark the balls, and then, like, one of them had to move their mark over a little bit so the other person could putt. But it was really unique. I mean, it's so rare for that to happen, for the ball to come to rest like that. But I have seen it happen. And, again, if you're on the green and you hit your competitor's ball, your ball stays wherever it ends up, and then he or she gets to replace their ball where it was when your ball struck it. There's no penalty for either one of you if it's just ball hitting ball, as weird as that sounds.
So does the
Don't call me Randy. Don't call me Randy. I didn't mean anything by it.
So does the PGA live, whoever it is that's hosting these tournaments, do they have like an umpire or a referee or an official standing out there when a situation like this happens and tells the golfers, okay, this is your options?
Yeah, there's a bunch of rules officials out there. There's not enough to go around for every single group that's on the course, but there are several out depending on the size of the event. And so sometimes there might be a rules official nearby, and they could call it over. Like, say he had seen a little bit of that ball peeking out of the mud, right? And he had said, ooh, when I take my swing, I'm going to hit my ball, but then my follow-through is going to take that divot, and I'm going to hit that other ball. He could have called a rules official over and just said, hey, I just want to make sure you know this is here because this is about to happen. And sometimes the rules official is close enough by that they can instantly get a ruling, and then other times they have to wait several minutes, and that's what causes slow play on tour. There's other reasons too, but this is one of the reasons that we have slow play on tour, is because if somebody has to call a rules official over, and if it takes several minutes for them to get there, and then they have to explain the whole situation, and then they have to get a ruling, I mean, it can take 10 or 15 minutes, right? And so now everybody's piling up behind them. So that is, but no, there are rules officials, just like any sport, but unlike basketball or football or soccer, they're not right there. You know what I mean? So it's not, sometimes it's not convenient to get a ruling.
So 3M began today at the TPC Twin Cities. Looks like Adam Svensson still in the lead right now with a negative 11. That's a pretty big number.
Oh, my
God. Minus 11 at any golf course in one round is unbelievable. He shot a 60. So he was only one shot away from a 59, which is kind of like the magic number in golf. And so, yeah, and obviously there's a few other really good scores on the leaderboard too. So scoring conditions must have been really, really good. Greens must have been receptive. Weather must have been nice. I did not get to see any of it. I was traveling in and out of town today for work. But yeah, I mean, 11 under, that's golfing your ball. You could let me start from 100 yards out in the fairway on every tee, and I still couldn't shoot anywhere near that score. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I saw that negative 11, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna touch that one anywhere. I can't even probably do that in mini golf on a 9-hole. That's not happening.
I wonder if they even had a 5, because I mean, if you're thinking 3 times 18 is 54. So you've got 6 extra putts. If you did 3 on every single hole, you would only have room for doing 6 on top of that 54 to get to 60.
I'll see if I can see his scorecard here.
I mean, if he sometimes did 1-5, he was probably kicking himself in the rear.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, that just ruined my whole round. I did 60.
Yeah, he probably had a lot of either close putts or he was just making lots of putts. Hard to say. I'll have to watch the replay, but yeah, that's impressive.
So the 3M is taking place at TPC Twin Cities course, 7,164 yards on the design by Arnold Palmer, and it was an established course in the year 2000. So is this a newer course in terms of like what the PGA uses for tournaments?
I mean, it's definitely relatively new compared to some of the courses that they play. Golf course design is always sort of changing a little bit here and there, and some designers have more of a classic design, and then some have a more modern design. And so for the tour to be interesting, they're always going to be looking at other courses. But they use a lot of the TPC courses on tour. TPC, by the way, that stands for Tournament Players Club, and these are courses that were owned and operated, or are owned and operated by the PGA Tour. So you see the TPC Sawgrass for the Players Championship. You see them play at TPC Deer Run every year. They play at TPC of Louisiana. So there's a bunch of TPC courses, and it makes sense since the PGA Tour owns them, right? And so these courses are all really well-designed courses that were designed knowing that tournaments, big pro tournaments were going to be held on them. So you've got relatively long courses, but also very interesting golf courses. Like this one's only 7,431 yards from the Pro Tees, which is a little short on by pro standards, but it's a par 71, not a par 72. So that makes it, that kind of sets that a little bit harder.
So I think I know the answer to this question in my mind, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it. So I'm going to assume that any course that is a TPC course is not going to be hosting a live event.
No.
Okay, yeah, just wanted to put that out there. Just wanted to know.
Question. But no, that's a great question. The answer to that question is the same as, are the WNBA players ever going to be paid what they think they're worth? The answer is no. But no. Yeah, and the interesting thing about LIV is they have actually managed to find some really neat courses all over the world to play. And like it or not, that, to me, that kind of makes it interesting. They'll come play the Greenbrier here in America, but then they're going to play, in England, and they're going to play in Dubai, and they're going to play all these different places, maybe, Japan or whatever. So I think it's kind of cool. It makes it a little bit more of an international thing, which doesn't make it as accessible to Americans to go see it, although they did host an event last year in Nashville for the LIV. The two tours are still not. And then what's funny is we're not even really having much talk and much discussion right now, probably because we're in such a height of the season right now. But in off-season, there was a lot of talk about if they could ever mend the fence on LIV and PGA. But, I've said it 1,000 times on this show. I just don't think it's ever going to – I think it's either going to stay split or eventually LIV might go away and then we only have the PGA Tour. But I don't think they're going to find a way to put them back together. Humpty Dumpty is not going to be put back together again.
That egg is already broken, my friend.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, man. I just really think that. I mean, it's hard when you deal with professional leagues. I mean, you can go back to the 80s and look at the NFL and look at when they did the USFL. You can go back to basketball and what was the 60s or 70s, the CBA. Like, you're just not, even though sports is huge in America and huge around the world, there's only so much room at the top for, these big brands. And there are very few sports that have found a way to splinter themselves and still survive. You've got F1 and Indy, you've got NASCAR that has sort of multiple levels of it, but you just can't seem to do that in other sports at the top level. I mean, nobody wants to see a second pro basketball league or a second pro football league. Like, we've got enough already, kind of, is the way I feel about it, Crucify me if you want to.
I'm going to have to differ a little bit on that because I think it's fan money.
Go for it.
Fan money kind of drives it a bit. And, of course, there's not enough money at anywhere else in the world for football. Basketball is a little interesting. I mean, of course, there are other leagues that are, playing, but they're second and third tier, like the European League and the China League, right? But actually, I think the sport that has other than golf, has an opportunity to have a second league for is actually baseball. If you look at the top 5 players in home runs and the top 5 players in batting average right now in the major leagues, 2 of the 5 are international players in both of those categories. And the problem is you can't have a Caribbean and Latin American league that's going to compete with the Major League Baseball because of money.
Oh, absolutely.
It's all about money, and they're going to go where the money's at. And that's the reason why soccer is so much bigger than the rest of the world, is because it's fan money. The Europeans are willing to pay and sell out arenas all day long, where in the United States, if it's a 5th best or 6th best, sport, you're just not going to have sellout after sellout after sellout, and also merchandise, obviously, also.
Money in the merchandising.
Yeah, for sure. I can agree with some of those points.
All right, Alan. So kind of established the TPC Twin courses as a little bit of a newer course. What kind of differences are there between, say, like the newer courses that have just been built versus courses that are 100, 150 years old?
Right. So a few differences, obviously length, because the older courses, even when they tried to tiger-proof some of the older courses and make them longer, it was hard to do it because a lot of times they were so landlocked by either houses or developments or real estate issues. You know, if your course backs up to a highway, it's kind of hard to back the tee box up. You just have nowhere else to go. And so, the older courses were skinnier. They had more holes lined up side by side. You had more, you had less diversity in terms of some of the design that they can do. Now they can go in, take a property, and design it completely from scratch because they're not, if they know how many, acres they have, whatever, they can sort of figure it out. And some of these new modern courses have again, you have to understand golf course design or have played golf to sort of get the differences. But I think that's what's so beautiful about the game of golf is because, every course is different, even if they are similar. Even if somebody tried to design a course kind of like Augusta or kind of like, St. Andrews or something like that. But when you look at the really old courses like St. Andrews, for instance, or if you look at some of the older courses in America, older country clubs and things, you're going to see shorter holes. You're going to see a lot of holes lined up right next to each other, which means there's less out of bounds, but it also means you end up playing out of the wrong fairway a lot if you miss and things like that. And newer course design is, again, just a lot longer. And I'm starting to see when I'm traveling and playing golf, I'm seeing more courses where they're trying to blend link style with modern a lot of times. So in other words, you're starting to see courses with less trees and more like mounds and undulation and things like that. And it's kind of becoming all about the greens, all about bigger green complexes where you can have multiple different pin positions, longer putts, and again, lots of undulation, lots of rises and things. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. But, there's sometimes people will design a brand new course, but they design it in the old style. So it still might look like a 150-year-old country club.
So what is the newest, latest, greatest thing that we got going on at Golf Plus?
Oh, boy. Well, we just got in the Happy Gilmore putter from the movie that's going to release tomorrow. We've got the Happy Gilmore Odyssey putter. And that's been a big hit. We only have one available for sale, and so it looks like a hockey stick, but it's very small, like a smaller version of a hockey stick. So we got that, and then we also have a couple of the new Phantom Black Scotty Cameron limited edition putters. That's new, and also the new Black Vapor, which is a black, obviously, wedge from Bob Vokey. So we have new Titleist wedges, new putters, they're limited edition, and the Happy Gilmore, which is super limited and super expensive. So anyway, y'all can buy expensive stuff. And but no, really, this is a weird time of the year. You don't get as many releases this time of year, so it's not like all new lines. It's just more like specialty product popping up this time of year.
One more question has to do with the Happy Gilmore putter. So it's got a big flat face like a hockey stick. Can they use that in like a PGA tournament, or can I just use it, for my own fun and amusement?
I don't think you can. I think there's a rule about the length of the face versus the depth, and there's really no depth to this thing because it's thin like a hockey stick. So I'd have to look in the rule book, but I'm pretty sure this would be illegal. But boy, if it's legal, it would be hilarious if somebody went out on tour and actually tried to use it. But it is a legit putting instrument. You could use it. Again, legally or not, I don't know, but it's a pretty cool little toy. Comes with a really cool sock head cover that is literally a sock. So,
I love it.
Is there a Happy Gilmore or Shooter McGavin shirts or anything like that?
I haven't seen anything. We had some golf balls from Callaway that had the hockey jersey on them, and then we also had some that just say "just tap it in." So we had some of those. I think we're down to maybe 1 or 2 dozen of those. We sold through most of them. So we had Happy Gilmore balls and Happy Gilmore putter. I don't know what else is going to come from the movie. We'll see. But the movie releases on Netflix tomorrow, I believe.
Oh, wow.
All right, Alan Watson, owner of Golf Plus. Thanks so much for giving us a minute of your time and coming on the Afternoon Underdogs.
You got it, man. Thanks a lot. Y'all have a great day.
All right, that was Alan Watson, owner of Golf Plus. Go visit the shop, shops at Edgewater. And when you walk in, make sure you tell them Inside Drive. You'll get 20% off of shoes and hats that are in stock as we speak. When we come back, let's discuss some mascots. You are listening to the Afternoon Underdogs from the CBC Construction Studios, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Have you ever wanted to reach out and smack someone?
Sit your ass down and shut up!
Call or text the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida with your rants, hot takes, picks, and takedowns.
This is unacceptable at the University of Alabama!
This should go 7 games. You've got to have a bad game at some point.
The Red 70s Studio Line, 850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida. Get in the game.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Thursday. Definite thunderstorms and sprinkles the remainder of the day with a wind out of the south-southeast at 15 miles per hour and 85. Tonight, look for a mixture of mostly clear skies and a likelihood of thunderstorms with a temperature near 80. Tomorrow, a high around 88 and a variety of mostly sunshine and likely thunderstorms. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, where the locals go for the best boiled seafood around. Crawfish, shrimp, red boils, and everything crabs. Watch almost every sporting event in the country on their huge outdoor jumbotron. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on weekly events, live music, and food and beer specials. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, your home away from home for sports, good times, great food. The best boiled seafood. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
Let's see. Diamond stud earrings for Marcy, Bulova watch for Tommy, tennis bracelet for Cassie, and Keith wants a 14-karat chain. Oh, and Hannah wants those white gold hoop earrings.
Okay, guys, Santa gave me his list. He knows that Tracy's Fine Jewelry has the largest selection and lowest prices you'll find anywhere. We've stopped the cases, slashed the prices, and we're offering a free 6-month layaway on our entire jewelry selection. For a stress-free holiday, Tracy's Fine Jewelry, where Santa shops.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. Doing what other stations can't. The Afternoon Underdogs is live and local. 850-215-6290.
When you've completed dialing, listen for the ringing signal.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Afternoon Underdogs, live from the CBC Construction Studios. Visit them at cbcconstruction.com. Call the show, text the show. We got both of them going on. The Red 70s phone line, 850-215-6290 is your way to get a hold of us. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we got Jack Patterson on Facebook giving us a good afternoon, and a good afternoon to you, Jack. And be sure to download our app. Take us with you everywhere you go. And you can rely on ESPN Northwest Florida for all of your up-to-the-minute weather information. We are accurate, and we will keep you up to date with Joanna. So be listening 104.3 for all of the weather updates. We got it from Mid-South Lumber, Ellis Agency Insurance, and Earthworks of Northwest Florida. So we are going to discuss the ESPN College Football Mascot Power Rankings. So to do this, ESPN divided it down into a couple of different divisions. So we'll just start off here. Division number 1 that they come up with is the costume division. So you got to think of, dudes like in full out gear, like the thing that you think of really with a mascot. That's kind of what this section is right now. And number 5, I did not know this mascot existed. I am happy to learn of him, and he might be my second favorite mascot now, and that is Keggy the Keg.
Oh, I've seen that one.
from the University of Dartmouth. Leave it to an Ivy League school to give us Keggy the Keg. You figured that would be like UCLA, maybe an LSU, Miami. Give me a really hardcore, good party school. Arizona State, one of those for Keggy. No. The nerdy guys at Dartmouth gave it to us.
Actually, I would think that University of Wisconsin, because
that would be
Madison's got breweries,
a good one
right?
too.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, Wisconsin should have done that.
So definitely, I like Keggy on this list. Definitely, Keggy belongs on this list. Number 4. It's an interesting one to me. Not one of my favorites, but still a different and interesting mascot. The Stanford tree.
Oh, the tree's great.
The tree. It's
awesome.
just this anthropomorphic tree. It's got legs, but it's got no arms. So don't throw it a football.
Well, the eyes are part of what makes it.
Yeah, the red eyes that kind of look like the holly on the tree.
And then the leaves on the top is like the hair. It's almost like afro.
Yeah, very close.
So it's very branched out. But actually what adds to that whole thing is ESPN had a commercial where the baseball players asked about his baseball bat, and he's talking about how they slice the tree into form the wooden baseball bat, and the tree is like listening to him talk about cutting wood and destroying a tree, and then the Stanford tree's like shaking, like
mortified look on his face.
Mortified.
That was my uncle. You killed my family.
No,
I could see that one.
That's great.
Heading on into number 3, my university, Western Kentucky University, with Big Red, the big old red blob. I love that guy. Great. Western is really good at using them. I like what Western did with the helmets, because Western also with their football helmets, not afraid to do some crazy things. Last year, they took the Big Red and they put the eyes, how the big eyes on it and the eyebrows? That was the football helmet.
Oh. So there was no WKU?
No WKU on it, just the 2 eyeballs and your eyebrows on top of it on the red helmet. It looked a lot like, when you looked at it from the side, it's like, definitely Big Red. What's
sad is that I think red is such a eye-popping color. And if you think about it, what other red helmets are really like eye-catching or memorable other than maybe Georgia? I mean, in college, I really don't think of anybody really doing anything.
You got Georgia.
Good with it. You got Georgia.
Alabama, just with the numbers, isn't all that entertaining to me. You got to give me a little bit more than
Nebraska's got the block in. Nebraska does.
Arkansas's got the Razorback on it.
Yeah, but it's a freaking
getting
pig.
something at least.
It's a pig.
What else do we have for red helmets? I'm thinking now.
Well, USC has the Trojan.
USC has the Trojan. That's not bad.
I just don't like the yellow with it.
Yeah,
a gold, whatever.
The yellow red is kind of a weird combo together, but it works for them. Now you got me thinking on red helmets, and I'm coming up way too blank on that one.
Yeah, and you'd think that Ohio State's all gray, and then they got the red stripe down the middle.
And the little Buckeyes all over. Which
there is one more SEC team that's red. I thought. I mean, I can't think of it. Maybe not. No?
Florida's orange.
Mississippi State's so dark.
It's Mississippi State's more like you're starting to get into almost reddy purpley, but it's red-ish.
Yeah, it's like variations, just like Virginia Tech.
Number 2, Brutus Buckeye of Ohio State. That's a good one. Anthropomorphic nut. Looks like a Buckeye on a human body.
A poisonous
really does.
nut.
Yeah, don't eat it, people.
No.
Don't eat them. You can celebrate them. Don't eat them. Coming in at number 1 on the costume list, we got the duck from Oregon.
Yeah.
Good old ducky there. Yeah.
So does it remind you of Donald a little bit? Donald Duck?
It reminds me more of Howard.
Oh, okay.
He looks, he looks more of like a Howard the Duck situation to me.
It's like a mix.
He doesn't have as big a belly as Donald. Yeah. And the duck bill itself to me looks way more Howardy than Donald E.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's a shame, but I'm sure if you had a top 15 list, there's going to be a tiger in there. They're going to throw a tiger in.
Oh yeah, it's down later on the animals section.
And I'm not saying it's LSU; it could be Auburn, but a lot of people hate the Missouri Tiger mascot. I believe. I think it's the one that's not very well liked.
I wonder why. They all kind of look the same.
A little different.
Ish, yeah,
If you look
no,
at it,
it's a little
but
bit different.
people do like Albie for Auburn.
We'll skip on down actually to the animal division since we have just mentioned it. Why not? So let's go into the live animal division. Coming in at number 5, it is a bald eagle known as the war eagle. So the University of Auburn coming in number 5. I like the war eagle. We got Mike the Tiger for number 4. There you go. So you do get your Tiger. So LSU with Mike the Tiger coming in number 4. Number 3, we head on over to Texas. So we'll stay in the SEC. We got Bevo.
That's not even top 3. I'm not even sure it's top 5.
Then we'll head on over to Colorado for Ralphie the Buffalo.
So I thought that was going to be number 1.
I really did too, but it goes to Uga.
Oh, come on, man. No, Buffalo beats Uga.
Yeah, I like the Buffalo. It's just, it's way bigger, way scarier, way meaner of like a looking animal that you could put out there for a mascot. Though, Uga cute. I'm more of a Smokey guy myself.
Smokey the dog?
Yeah.
At Tennessee?
Tennessee, yes.
Yeah, that probably cracks top 5 for me. I mean, I try and stay unbiased, okay? I would actually say the Buffalo's number 1. I would actually say the War Eagle is number 2.
I can go with that.
Because, he flies and then he comes back. And it's like, okay, you got an eagle. You got an eagle trained. That's pretty impressive. Like Mike the Tiger, they throw slabs of meat to him. He's like, I feel like I'm eating or I don't feel like I'm eating it. It's like sometimes he'll ravage it and then other times he's like, I'll eat that for later.
Yeah, I've already had like 5 of these today. Throw me a freshman instead.
So if LSU's number 3 or 4, I'm happy. But no, I'm going to put Buffalo and the War Eagle 1, 2.
Yeah, those are good. Uga, good mascot, but yeah. I mean, if you want them to have it 5, fine. But I think we could probably find a couple more, actual living, real, animal mascots to throw on in there.
So there's a video that talks about this whole, type of scenario and all that, and that the Michigan Wolverines are going to get a live mascot.
I would love to have like a Wolverine out there. That would be awesome.
Or a Badger, Wisconsin.
Like randomly, like sometime like during the third quarter, just like randomly let it loose to run across the field.
Streakers would never happen again.
Oh, that would be actually the best. Just save it for the streaker, let it go.
Oh my God!
Well, that's what we call entertainment right there.
or best, Oregon State's the Beavers, right?
Yes. Just get a real beaver out there.
He's gnawing his leg off. Somebody stop him!
Stop him! He's chewing down the goalpost. How are we going to kick the field goal?
Has like a real life mascot ever mauled a fan before at a game?
Oh, Uga tried to take a bite out of the Wildcat, like the Wildcat, the Kentucky Wildcat, the guy in the suit Wildcat. Yeah, Uga tried to take a bite out of that guy once.
So the most vivid thought in my mind about Uga, though, is Auburn went to go play at what they call Between the Hedges at Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia. And he scored a touchdown, and he creeped into the corner of the end zone, not the back end, but the front end of the end zone to score a touchdown. And Uga was just sitting there, just, like on his leash, a person's holding him. And Uga lunged at the wide receiver, and the wide receiver was like, he jumped back up like 2.5 feet up into the air because he saw that dog coming to snap at him. And it was like very memorable, that Auburn got to have that experience happen with Uga.
Well, I mean, he's out there playing for his team, right?
Yeah, well,
out there making sure good things happen for Georgia.
I'm sure he's running pretty fast at the end zone. That's where the dog's at. He asked for it.
Probably. All right, into what they call the human division. So these are guys, as a person dressed up doing something. So we got Valai the Warrior from the University of Hawaii. So
what?
Valai.
Oh.
The Warrior, the big,
Does he have a shirt
guy.
on?
No, he's got that big old look to him.
Okay, shout out to Jamie because he's in Hawaii.
All right, Jamie, thank you for listening. And this is the Afternoon Underdogs coming to you live from the CBC Construction Studios, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Reach out and smack someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 17 studio line. It's here. The 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida app version 2.0. Now featuring ultra high fidelity. You'll feel like you're in the game. Plus, more opportunities to win weekly prizes from local businesses when you click it to win it. Download the 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida app today at Google Play or the Apple Store.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Thursday. Definite thunderstorms and sprinkles the remainder of the day with a wind out of the south-southeast at 15 miles per hour and 85. Tonight, look for a mixture of mostly clear skies and a likelihood of thunderstorms with a temperature near 80. Tomorrow, high around 88 and a variety of mostly sunshine and likely thunderstorms. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Show off your style and drive away in a new 2025 Kia K4 or K5 from Bill Bird Kia. The 2025 K4 delivers sleek design, smart safety features, and an impressive fuel efficiency. Are you looking for something with a little more space and a confident, sporty appeal? The 2025 Kia K5 delivering a sleek design, smooth ride, and advanced driver's assistant features, all designed to keep you safe and comfortable on every drive. Now offering 2.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia K4 or K5. Bill Bird Kia is the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at Bill Bird Kia, PanamaCity.com. Discover what drives you at Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia K4 or K5 with $22.09 per 1,000 financed in 48 months. Quality limited cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 8/4/25.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. The next evolution in sports talk radio. It's the Afternoon Underdogs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Make it so. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is the Afternoon Underdogs coming to you live from the CBC Construction Studios. Visit their website, cbcconstruction.com. You can call us, you can text us on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. And we are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Download our app. You can find it on the Google Play Store. You can find it on the Apple App Store. Take us with you everywhere you go. And be sure to visit the website, espnpc.com. And that way you can keep up with everything that is going on here at the studios. Did have a text in on the Red 7T's phone line. Got it from a 724 area code. So, listener, with the 724 area code, just text us back real quick and kind of give us your stage name. Don't got to give us a real name. Just give us your stage name so we can put you in the system so we know who you are. But he apparently, I think he's getting on with us to the mascot. Big fan of the Scarlet Knight of the University of Rutgers. That would go into the costume category.
So the irony of that is the 724 area code is Southwest Pennsylvania, which actually makes me think about Pittsburgh Panthers. Because the Panther who's dressed up, he's actually a pretty cool
It's not a bad one, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely in the talk.
Definitely a good one, but we'll keep our eyes focused now on what we got at hand here on my little piece of paper that I wrote down. And the good news, everybody, the best news, the great news. Next Thursday, that is July 31st, football.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Football. We have football. We got the Hall of Fame game, everybody. Hall of Fame, Chargers taking on the Lions live from Canton, Ohio. Please, this year, guys, make sure you use the correct paint. We don't need a repeat of what you guys did about 10 years ago. You remember that, Jeff?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so what happened there was for the Hall of Fame game, you know how they'll paint the end zones with team names. They'll paint the Hall of Fame symbol in the middle. Well, they got paint that was not meant to be used on AstroType turf, so it didn't dry. So it was just
wet.
this sticky, wet paint all over the field. So they had to cancel the game.
No,
because they just totally did it wrong. Everything that got painted onto the field. So the numbers were fine because those just stay on the field because it's it's an AstroTurf type field. But everything else, the center, like the advertisements they had on the 25 and the 30-yard line, I forget who was playing in the game, but both teams had their emblems in the end zone. Nope, couldn't use the field. Game was canceled, everyone.
You had one job to do.
You had one job, and that was to paint the field. And they did that job, but they just didn't use the right paint. So I remember that, and I just have to bring that up every single year because come on. You work for the Hall of Fame of the you work for the Football Hall of Fame. Yeah. Like, you deal with football. I'm sure it's not your first time even dealing with this field. And, come on, guys.
It's the Hall of Fame. It's
guys.
The center of it all.
Yes.
They've
probably got samples of paint in there saying this was the paint that was used at Super Bowl I, Go in and look at it. Repeat it. Do it again. Oh, that was one of those that was just so awful.
So you said it was the Lions playing who?
Lions, the Chargers will be taking on the Lions. The Lions will be the quote-unquote home team for this game. Right now, the betting line is in favor of the Detroit Lions at a -1. The over-under at 32.5.
I go over.
I'd go over, mostly because it is a preseason game, so we're going to see lots of everybody. Like, lots of everybody. I'm sure we're going to see, starters either not at all, or we might see them for, one drive and they're done. I don't really see,
So what's the one player you would like to see? Is it Justin Herbert? It's not Jared Goff.
No, it's not going to be Goff. I guess right now I'd have to see, and say Herbert. But neither of those guys are somebody that I'm looking for to see how much they've improved because they're both known commodities. You know what you're going to get out of both of them so far.
Jamar Gibbs is the running back for the Lions.
Yes.
I think? Yeah. I would say I'll put him number 2.
So that would be a hopefully good game. Hopefully we get the game in and we don't have any paint mishaps this time. So this will give the Chargers and the Lions 4 preseason games each. All the other teams will only have 3.
And there's talk about going down to 2.
There's been discussions of, especially if they go to 18, it'll go to 2.
Oh, I do not want 18.
I don't think 18's the way to go. No. I think that's way too many games. 16 was a good number for me.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect.
We didn't really need 17, but it's here. There's no way the owners are going to give up a game 17, so it is here to stay.
And the other 2 things that I think about when they moved it up to 17 was, number 1 was all the records, because you were comparing to 14 games in the 70s and in the 16-game schedule. So now your yardage per season, these guys are getting into the Hall of Fame a lot easier because they have extra games to play in their year. So a seasonal record for yardage passing or rushing, it's tainted. Because you're playing extra games.
I do worry about that. It's not too bad for me because we've gone from having, in the 40s it was like 12 games, and then it's gone. It's always constantly kind of going up. Yes, also a lot less teams back then. Yeah. But what really was good, clouds, silver lining, you got to find them sometimes. But for the players, for the current players, one of the few good things about adding another game to the season was your bonuses. So if you get 10 touchdown passes, you get a $100,000 bonus.
Yeah, they're going to move that up, though.
Yeah, but those guys that already had those contracts signed,
You're right.
Guess what? You've got an extra game now for your ability to get to that 10. So those guys that had those kind of contract stipulations did well. But other than that, I don't think the players really wanted it. I mean, that was a big complaint that after I got digging in deeper about the whole Lloyd Howe thing, he was a big pusher for 18 games, even though the players were saying, no, we don't want 18 games. So another reason that guy, kind of needed to go. So, but 4 games for the Chargers and Lions, 3 games for everyone else. Is that an advantage or a disadvantage for those 2 teams? I almost only see it as an advantage because you get 4 games, you get an extra game to see some of these guys, and you're going to get to see the guys who are, let's face it, they're probably not your top 50 guys. You know, you're looking at guys that are probably like 45 and up on the depth chart. Yeah. So you're getting just extra chances to see them. I doubt, you know, like I said, you'll probably see like, you know, your starters for one series just because it's the Hall of Fame game. You know, they'll put them in for one series and then they'll be done. Yeah. So you're not going to have the injuries to worry about. So I think it's an advantage for these two teams just to get that extra game in, just to you're not going to see anybody gel or, you know, come together or anything because you got a whole bunch of guys that are basically just making film out there. Mm-hmm. But you as the team get to put those guys get to see those guys in some more situations to see if you really want to hang with them or not. Yeah, because some of these guys are game time players. They don't play like a certain level in practice, and then all of a sudden, when the pressure's on, they're pressure players. They step up and they play even better in the games. And I mean, how much can you really hit at practices anymore? You know, the CBA only allows for like 1 week or something of practices that have like real 100% go contact, and the rest of the time, you know, they're just quarter half speed or no contact at all. Man, so you're not going to get to see, does that guy really hit hard? Mm-hmm. And you're also, let's face it, you know, you really don't want to have the hardest hits in your own practice because you don't want to knock your own guys out either. Yeah, it's funny when they have the practice summer camp and all that where they have the little brawls between the offense and the defense. Oh, those are always so cute. Yeah, cute. Yeah, that's the word I was thinking of. I remember Aaron Darnold a couple of years ago had the helmet off and started swinging it at people. Oh, my God. That was not a good move, by the way. No, don't do that. My favorite, the one that is emblazoned in my mind, I think is the Chicago Bears in the late 80s. They had a nice, good preseason team brawl. Because, you know, you win one Super Bowl and you're thinking, oh, the defense, we won the Super Bowl. And then the offense has got their chip on their shoulder because they think that they're really hot stuff. And then they just kind of went at each other, you know? Yeah. So with preseasons getting down to 3 games, what's your opinion on it? You like the preseason? Don't like the preseason? No, I think it's a necessary. Still useful? Yeah, useful, necessary tool for the coaching to evaluate their second tier of players. You might want to call it third tier if you want to. I don't really care. Because in certain positions, you have a third string. Yeah, you know, like absolutely. You know? And some teams definitely need that because they have either injuries happen, and they don't know that those injuries are going to happen, but they want their third string to be top-notch players. And, of course, there's the practice squad. Yeah, and that's, like 15 guys now? It's expanded. Is it that much? Yeah, it's expanded pretty heavily in the last, since the last CBA. And, you know, we have not paid attention to practice squad players until recently because not only do they get second chances in the league, but they get picked up by other teams to go to, like, a permanent roster. Yeah. And it's so wild to have somebody sign on to a practice squad, and they're, I don't know, Chicago Bears, and then, like, the Dallas Cowboys say, oh, we signed him on as a permanent person. They stole their player. It's so wild. That's what they do, right? Yeah, you can, if somebody is sitting on a practice squad, you can go up and talk to them, have contract negotiations, and they are allowed to, you know, leave. Now, the team that they're on does have the opportunity to match. But then if you match it, you've got to send them up, which means you've got to take somebody else off of your 53-man and either, one, cut them, say bye, thanks, or move them to the practice squad. Yeah. You know, so it's one of those, how bad do you really want to keep them? And another reason I think we're hearing more about practice squads, too, is because now they don't have that limit on if they have played in X number of games, they can't be on the practice squad. That is now changed to where you can basically go throw anybody now on the practice squad. I think you can have up to like half of those guys now have over a year worth of experience. Oh, and you can stick them on that's how Baker Mayfield ended up on the practice squad for a while. Because, that's when towards the end there, before Baker got out to the Rams, you know, he was literally playing like nose tackle and things like that on the practice squad. So, that's why we're hearing more about it, I think. You know who I totally forgot about? You know, is in the news today.
I'm a Dolphins fan, obviously. Tyreek Hill is being talked about because Tua is trying to say that he's trying to
save face.
Mend fences with his teammates and all that kind of stuff. That I saw a Tyreek Hill interview about how he was getting recruited by University of Alabama, and about how Nick Saban was telling him, "Oh yeah, you're going to get reps as a running back if you come to University of Alabama," because Tyreek Hill was not a wide receiver in college and in high school. He was a running back.
Oh, he'd be quick, but man.
And he's quick and he's small. He's not super tall or anything like that, right? He's short. But anyway, he didn't believe Nick Saban. And at the time, it was like 2014. And it was like, if you look at the running backs that they had at the University of Alabama, he basically saw through Nick Saban saying that he's going to get reps as a running back because they had like 6 running backs at the University of Alabama who all got carries at that time. And so Tyreek Hill, nobody remembers this. Well, some people do. He went to Oklahoma State, and then he got in trouble with putting his hands on somebody. And, Oklahoma State's, they've had at least 3 players I know that have gotten in trouble and then, get kicked off the team because they don't tolerate that at the Cowboys.
No, some schools do, some schools don't. It just really depends on where you're hanging out, where you're playing.
Florida did that when Urban Meyer was there.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it. If you're trying to keep a certain culture, one person can ruin a whole culture, and if you're building a culture, you don't really want that.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, like perfect example right now, the guy who just transferred from BYU to Tulane. He's a quarterback. Yeah, some girls saying that he did some funny stuff with the girl, and of course BYU is a Mormon school.
Oh man!
And so he's unmarried, and guess what?
Have you
BYU
seen
BYU doesn't even want you anymore?
Have you seen what students have to sign on to if they want to be just I'm not even talking student athletes here. I am talking your run of the mill freshmen going in there, what they have to agree to on everything, and it's just to me looking at it going, I'm 18. I'm getting away from my parents for the first time, and you've got this list of what?
Yeah.
What?
Alcohol probably included.
Yeah. No alcohol, no smoking, no girls, no cheating.
No school like that. Not Wake Forest, not Baylor, not Notre Dame.
There's no way. That's one of those.
Gonzaga.
It's you'd have a hard time getting me to sign on to that one. I mean, maybe a full ride could convince me of something like that, but ooh, if I'm taking out loans. No, I want to have a good time.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the tuition is at BYU. It's probably pretty steep.
I've not looked.
It's private.
Yeah, it's private school, and it's not a bad educational school. In terms of the education that you will get from that school is a very good education. It's just it's not my style, guys. Let's just put it that way.
Steve Young was pretty squeaky clean.
Very.
He came from BYU.
Yeah,
but the image of Jim McMahon and how he stepped off an airplane when he got signed on with the Bears. He had a beer in his hand off the plane.
He was glad to be. I'm out of here, boys. Thank you. It was a good time, but I'm gone.
In Chicago,
But I mean, think about Steve Young, Brigham Young.
Mm-hmm.
It was his great grandson or something like that.
Yeah, I guess double great.
Yeah, it was
double great.
Yeah, it was somewhere in there. He goes to the way back of Brigham Young. I don't think that got him the starting job because he lit that world on fire.
After Jim McMahon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it? Yeah.
It was about that time period.
I think it was right before.
It was about that time period.
Yeah, and they were winning. They were going undefeated, but they're playing the WAC.
Well, which has been up and down over the years, and now is just totally disappeared now, isn't it? It kind of just lumped into the Mountain West, didn't it?
It did, but then also they had it around on below it for basketball, and I think it became the West Coast, the West Coast Conference. I think it merged with another conference. They even changed the name to the West Coast Conference.
Yeah,
even on or something.
Now we can't even keep up with conferences anymore, man. We can't keep up with where schools are. We can't keep up with where conferences are.
And I'm really good at that trivia questions, but then I think it was you that schooled me about Louisiana Tech being in the Sun Belt in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what? Louisiana Tech wasn't in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, for everything but football, they were in the Sun Belt. For football, they were in the WAC.
Oh, shit. That's the reason why I didn't know the trivia question, because I was thinking on football terms.
Yeah, because in football, they were in the WAC at football, but for baseball, basketball, everything else, they were a Sun Belt school. Kind of similar to what Western Kentucky was at the time, because their football program was Gateway or one of those 1AA schools, and then for everything else, they were Sun Belt.
So Notre Dame does that. They're basketball of ACC, and then they're independent for football.
Yep.
But the weirdest thing ever is for hockey, they're Big Ten.
Yeah, makes sense geographically speaking.
And they don't have enough teams for the Big Ten because they only have 6, so they're the 7th team in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it helped fill it out because they were playing in Hockey East, which if you go back and look in the 90s, 80s, 2000s, that was the dominant conference, and it's still a very dominant conference with Boston College, all those kind of northeasterly schools up there.
Boston U is right there with Boston College, so maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, so it's...
Do you know, trivia question.
Hit me.
NCAA hockey national champions.
Yes.
4 different schools in the state of Michigan have won the national title.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Michigan State, was it great? Is it called Great Lakes?
Great Lakes.
Michigan
Tech.
Yeah, Michigan Tech. Yeah, I can't remember if the 4th one is called Great Lakes University or Lake Sinclair. Or
Great
something.
Lakes is up there.
Is it Great Lakes?
Yeah, it's Great Lakes. It's up on the Yooper.
Yeah. Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah,
I think that's
tippy
top.
Yeah, that's
not the Yooper. It's at the tippy top of the glove. Yeah.
Yes.
So they have 4 different schools in that state have won national titles. That's crazy. Yeah. And they've basically all won multiples.
Yeah, Minnesota's another school or another state that's got a lot of winners in it because
they have
Duluth and Bemidji State, St. Cloud State, University of Minnesota also, and all those guys have titles.
Yeah.
So that's been a big pull. Denver's gotten a lot of titles lately.
Denver has a few, and I think there's another school in Colorado that's won a national title in hockey.
Oh,
I don't remember
not my.
I don't think it's Colorado State.
No, Colorado State's not there. University of Mines, I know, has a hockey team, but I don't think it's been great.
Yeah.
Corey has texted us in, and he says, Buckeyes have best mascot. Beware of the poison nut. Corey, I won't say I totally disagree with you. I'm not going to say best mascot. I will say good mascot. But yes, do not eat the Buckeye.
I'm not touching.
Eat it.
I'm not touching Corey's poison nut.
All right, Corey, thanks for the text in. And when we get back, we will discuss some of the NFL positions. We'll go through some top 10s through a couple of positions. We'll just run through what we can real quick. This is the Afternoon Underdogs coming to you live from the CBC Construction Studios, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Text in now on the Red 7T's studio line. 850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
This is our historic show.
This show will go down in history. He really wants me there.
Yeah, he has a family.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Do y'all just let anybody just call on the show, any fools?
When has somebody telling you not to show up ever stopped you from showing?
There you go.
I mean, that...
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. A likelihood of thunderstorms and mostly clear skies tonight with a low near 80 and a wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Very light rain and likely thunderstorms tomorrow morning and a temperature of 86. About the same in the afternoon and evening around 87 with likely thunderstorms and some sun. Possible thunderstorms Saturday and hot around 88. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Cold, creamy, and gourmet. Milkshake Factory is now open at Breakfast Point Marketplace near Publix next to First Watch. Unbelievably delicious handcrafted milkshakes and chocolates like the famous chocolate bark. Try the mouth-watering chocolate dipped strawberry shake. Family-friendly fun and unforgettable shakes await. Milkshake Factory now open at Breakfast Point Marketplace near Publix next to First Watch on Back Beach. Milkshake Factory.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. We don't sell the steak.
You can stir this all up.
We sell the sizzle. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
Very spicy.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Afternoon Underdogs is on your airwaves, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Coming to you live from the CBC Construction Studios. Visit their website, cbcconstruction.com. You can call us and text us on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Download our app to your phone or to your tablet. Take us with you everywhere you go. And ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast. Braves action returns on Friday. Pre-game 5:50. First pitch 7:05. Taking on the Texas Rangers from Arlington, Texas. ESPN Northwest Florida and the Braves brought to you by Best Way Portable Buildings, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Mid-South Lumber, and Brock Pest Control.
I think they have to take that series versus the Texas Rangers. I mean, it's on the road.
It's tough. It's a series that if you can get a sweep.
Oh, I'm not asking for a sweep. I'm just asking for 2-1 and done.
It will help out tremendously
on the road
because they're in a position still where you can make a run and you can look at that wild card spot. I'm still not convinced on the East because you're 14 games on the East, and in the wild card it's now 10.5. So not sitting in the best spots, but 10.5, a little bit of an easier climb than 14. And if you can at least take 3, and if everybody in front of you also gets swept.
Oh, no, that's not
going to happen. No. But you can at least get to where you're about a 7 to a 7.5 games behind in that area. So we will now turn our attention to the National Football League. We'll go over a couple of positions now on the field. And ESPN has released their top 10 ranks for each position. LSU Jeff requested that let's start off with some linebackers. So here is our linebacker list from ESPN, top 10. They start us off with Quincy Williams from the New York Jets. 28 years old. Last year was an honorable mention, not in the top 10. Moving on to number 9, we have Dre Greenlaw, the Denver Broncos. Last year, he was also rated number 9, so he didn't come up nor come down, still rated at number 9. Coming in at number 8, DeMarvion Overshawn of the Dallas Cowboys was not rated last year because he was a rookie, and they're not rating rookies on this list. So congratulations for making it to the list. Levante David of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming in at 7th place. He was an honorable mention last year. Coming in at 6th, Tremaine Edmonds of the Chicago Bears. Not ranked, he was ranked last year, ranked number 7. Coming in at 5th place, Frankie Louvu from the Washington Commanders was not ranked last year, not even mentioned last year. So congratulations, hopping all the way up into 5th place. Nick Bolton of the Kansas City Chiefs, coming in at the number 4 spot, was 5th last year. Zach Bond of the Philadelphia Eagles is our 3rd linebacker. He was not ranked last year. Roquan Smith of the Baltimore Ravens, coming in at number 2, was rated number 2 last year. Makes a lot of sense to me. And Fred Warner coming in at number 1 for the 49ers last year. Number 1, again, good with that.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I think that, are these guys really making that big of a difference? I mean, I know it's a team. It's a team sport. You have all kind of players. You have to have depth. But so you have a chief, you have a commander, an eagle, and a buck. And the other 6 guys did not make the playoffs.
Yeah, we can look at that.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, because Cowboys
did not make the playoffs.
They did not last year. Year before they got embarrassed in the first round. That was always fun.
Yeah, by Jordan Love. And you know what? That's why I was high on the Packers coming into this last year. And I was writing off the Vikings. I thought that the Vikings are probably the 2nd most surprising team of last year. The Vikings were.
Yeah, I'd say so.
14-3? Yeah. So after losing Kirk Cousins?
They lost Cousins, and then, J.J. McCarthy went down, and so you're relying on Sam Darnold, which everybody was down on.
And they got rid of him?
Everybody was down on Sam Darnold.
Yeah. I'm like 14-3 for the Vikings? I thought they were going to be challenging the Bears for the bottom, and they were 14-3.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's football has the biggest, quickest swings to me. I think mostly because it has the largest group of people on roster.
Yeah. Okay.
So it has, you had the most guys on the roster, so that would also lead to the most turnover every year on a roster. So I could see football is just the easiest, quickest way, because you've got all that roster you can turn over. You don't got a whole lot of guys on an NFL football team that are really signed for more than a year or 2 at a time.
I think if you have less people on the field or court, that you get a superstar and you can swing your whole team around. I mean,
they can, especially more or less in basketball, I can see it. Mm-hmm. But it not really going to work too well in hockey or baseball because one guy just can't really dominate the whole thing.
You're absolutely right on that. But I think the decade that was the most in baseball where you can go from last to first was really back in the 80s. It was just astounding. There were years where the Royals and the Brewers came out of nowhere. I think the Padres were pretty good one year in 83 or so. And it was just kind of wow, we do not know who's going to be going next because kind of the Yankees and the Dodgers kind of dipped out for a little bit there.
Yeah, they were. The Yankees in the 80s were not the greatest at all. In the 70s, they were absolutely, after they were done with Reggie Jackson, they really collapsed for about a decade.
I mean, I know they had a couple of good years in the early 80s. The Dodgers did, but 87 is when they had Earl Hershiser
and all those guys came in. Kirk Gibson had his home run in 88. And then they started
competing with the Giants a bit, but
Let's roll on into the quarterback position. This is ESPN's top 10 quarterbacks coming into the season. Number 10 from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, who was not ranked last year. Mm-hmm. So I can see that. Baker had a great season last year.
About right.
Should have a nice season this year. Coming in at number 9, Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles was an honorable mention last year.
How does he get 9? The guy just won a Super Bowl.
People got him ranked low on a lot of things. Sad. And I don't think he's a bad quarterback. He's not the best throwing quarterback, but he manages the game pretty well. He doesn't have a whole lot of stupid turnovers. When you get him into a tush-push situation, he will get you that 1.5 yards, period, end of story. And he's not a super mobile quarterback, but he's not afraid to step out and take a hit because he's a huge dude. He's not a small man. I'm big on him. It's one of those, do I take him as a fantasy draft pick? Probably not, because he doesn't put up that kind of numbers. Mm-hmm. But in a real life football situation, do I pick him up? Sure. If he's sitting there for me and I can put him on my team, yeah, I bring him in.
And they're keeping the offense on the field, but you do have a running back, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, and Saquon is a great asset to him. Coming in at number 8, Jared Goff, the Detroit Lions. He was ranked number 9 last season. Good spot. Okay, I'm not going to argue that one. Justin Herbert coming in at the 7th place for the Los Angeles Chargers, was ranked number 6 last year. Every year, everybody says it's a do or die year for him. I kind of, I haven't said that it wasn't, but I think it's more of a prove it this year now that they got Harbaugh in there and they've got a little bit more of an offense for him, I think, to play with. But I've not been super down on him. He pulls off some really cool throws, but then just underthrows or overthrows sometimes on just little weird spots. So it's more of a consistency issue for me because I know he's got the talent. I just need to see the consistency.
I think Harbaugh wasn't using him much in the beginning of the season last year, and it almost felt like is he like cautionary, like not trying to run him into the ground. Like, how like Peyton Manning would start out like really like gangbusters at the beginning of the season, and he would kind of like take his toll over the year, where maybe he was like holding him back and like saving him. So maybe towards the end of the season, he would be better, and it didn't work out. I'm not sure what Harbaugh is doing there.
Yeah, because Harbaugh's really a quarterback kind of guy. So
yeah,
you figure
he was a quarterback.
Yeah, you'd figure he'd go in and like see what he has and just start going to it. Maybe he just, I don't know, did they not have enough feel-out process for training camp and preseason that, well, I mean, you can't have a whole lot of feel-out process in preseason because you're not going to see Herbert out there for a whole lot of snaps. So I guess it's on-the-job learning for a lot of people.
Yeah, I forgot what they did with running backs because they've had good running backs recently. The Chargers has.
Let's go into number 6. It is Matthew Stafford of the Los Angeles Rams. He was ranked number 5 last season. All right. Okay, good. We're getting a little bit older. Still usable. We'll just see how this season ends for him. Hopefully not too horribly. Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders up to the number 5 spot. Not eligible for the list last year because he was a rookie. So, yeah, I can see... I think 5's a little high because I don't think we fully know what he has, but from what he showed us last year, he at least needs to be on the top 10 list, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Number 4. Here's where we can start having some debates, probably. They are ESPN. Their infinite wisdom number 4 happens to be Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens, ranked number 4 last year. All right. Is he a top 4? Absolutely. Would I put him higher than 4?
No.
I might put him in front of Burrow. I might put him in front of Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
But that's where I'd get him to is number 3, which number 3 is Joe Burrow. Cincinnati Bengals last year was ranked number 2. So he has fallen down the list a little bit. And I don't think Joe Burrow's problems is all Joe Burrow. I think it's somewhat Cincinnati Bengals, and I think it's a lot of the offensive line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
So it's one of those, I kind of wonder if he was in a different situation, what he'd look like. What kind of numbers would he be putting up? Because he's putting up killer numbers with Jamar Chase.
Well, that's the
But he's also having killer numbers put up against him by how many times he gets sacked.
But inverse about the offensive line, if he didn't have Jamar Chase, how good would he be?
Yeah. He wouldn't have that guy that you just...
The go-to guy.
Yeah, just throw it up there and let him go get it. I mean, you can do that with Jamar Chase. He's a big enough guy, fast enough guy. Just get it within 20 yards of where he is. Have him go after it. He'll go up and he'll get it. He's not afraid. I like that about him. He'll go up. He'll reach. I hate those guys that get the alligator arms. Where they're just like, no, don't want to catch it. One of the games last year I saw like a guy get the alligator arms, not only get the alligator arms, but swat the ball to the ground because he didn't want to catch it. It was a college game I was watching. It was not a pro game, but it was a college game. I watched that play and I was like, well, you had a nice run while it lasted, son, but no coach is going to put up with that real long. All right, number 2. Yep, we are into number 2. I mean, I guess everybody can kind of guess what number 1 and number 2 are going to be by the list that we have already gone through. But number 2, Josh Allen Buffalo Bills ranked number 3 last year, so he's stepping up the ladder. Yeah, I'm not going to argue that one. I don't mind him being at number 2. I think he is towards number 2 there. Number 1, you want to take a wild stab in the dark?
It's Mahomes.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. Last year, Patrick Mahomes was rated
number 1.
There we go. Yeah, number 1.
So I think the noteworthy thing is, going into last season, I think a lot of people were still high off of that rookie season that C.J. Stroud had for the Texans, and he's not on this list.
He is not on this list. I think C.J. Stroud could have a bounce back year this year. We see a lot of sophomore slumps out there. I'm not down on him like I'm down on AR. Like I'm basically off AR now. Like I just don't even see, if you want to play him because you got him, go for it. I don't think he's your future. I don't think the Colts have anybody that's a backup quarterback that could be the future either. So you're kind of in that situation of what do you do with it other than, start now, because next year's supposed to be a great quarterback class, they say. So if you're got any kind of interest in that, start scouting those guys for the 26th draft, because I just don't see it in AR. I don't see, the big thing for me with AR is I don't see the drive. I don't see the personal want to drive to do it.
Yeah. So no Tua on the list, obviously.
No Tua Tagovailoa.
And then the one that's been creeping around, we'll say maybe 12 on the list probably every year somewhat, is the guy who used to win games is Brock Purdy.
Oh, yeah.
You forget about him.
You forget
But
Mr.
he's not ever considered a top 10, but he's right outside of the top 10.
So there are 2 honorable mentions. We only got 2 honorable mentions here. C.J. Stroud.
There you go.
And Jordan Love.
Oh, Jordan Love, absolutely.
Jordan Love, not a bad one. Not the best season last year, but I think that was more injury than really him not playing well. And I think they kind of brought him back a little too quickly. So he couldn't have that plant, because it was the plant knee, right? The front left knee, that one, that's the one that got hurt. So it's the one you're coming down on off the throw. So I can see, quarterback's a full body job. You got to have your feet and your hands with you. If you ain't got everything together, I don't know why you're putting a quarterback out there, because that is a spot where, if they just have a little bit of a tumble, you can either lose a whole lot of yardage or even the football altogether.
So you have Baker Mayfield on this list. So the only division that does not have a quarterback on the list, and I'm not talking about honorable mentions, I'm not counting them, is the AFC South, because C.J. Stroud did not make it and never did Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor not there.
And then
AR not
Colts, there. Colts don't have the QB in there. And who's the 4th team? Oh, the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, Titans. Yeah, you're not going to... Well, Cam Ward, rookie, so they don't put rookies on the list. But I don't know if I'd put Cam Ward on the top 10 yet. I haven't seen him, so I really can't tell you on that one.
I think Penix would have a better year than Cam Ward.
Yeah, I think I could probably see that one. Penix has had the chance to sit and watch. He got into a handful of games last year. Didn't really get to do a whole lot because it was mostly just cleanup duty. But just the experience of having practice out there with NFL players has got to make you a better player.
And I think I have a disease.
What kind?
Well, it's a football disease.
Oh, okay,
good. Bad.
I was about to go. I was about to go get a COVID test and just shove it up my nose.
No, I think I have the disease of seeing a person win so much that I think that they're really good. And Penix won at the University of Washington. He won the Pac-12 in his last year, beat Oregon twice, went to the national championship and lost the Michigan Wolverines. And Cam Ward never really did show me the winning thing, because, at Washington State, was it? Right? Washington State?
Yes.
And then he went to the University of Miami Hurricanes, and he lost those 2 games and didn't qualify for the ACC championship game. And then he sat out the bowl game this year. But, 10-2, that's the best you ever showed me. And Penix showed me more.
Yeah.
So I tend to think that, there's a lot of quarterbacks. We can talk about Joe Montana, talk about Elway, and talk about Marino. Marino did really well his junior year. His senior year, he was horrible. The team was horrible. They were losing, And so there's people that have been in college and been losers, and then they go to the pros and they do something. But so maybe I think my disease is seeing them win and then expecting something out of them, and then they don't. And you talked about it yesterday, Vince Young.
Yeah,
he showed me winning.
Winner.
Yeah, he showed me winning, and now, he's gone.
Well, could it be... So, those guys that are always winning in college, you're not always winning in the NFL. Are they just so used to winning that they're not used to playing behind and don't really have the concept of how to manage, control, and handle the game while being behind?
Well, it's funny because that's the three biggest names as far as comeback players go. I just named Montana, and Marino, and Elway. Those three are in the top 4 of all-time comeback quarterbacks.
Yeah. And they did it. They did it in college too. Go look at their records there.
Yeah, they did in college because Montana's most memorable one was in his senior year against the University of Houston for Notre Dame. He was playing University of Houston. If you ever get to watch that game, you'll see him play like not good for 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter just light it up, and they thought that the game was over with. Like the Houston guys were like celebrating.
Yeah, already. Yeah, third quarter's over, we win.
And then it was boom, 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 and then it was like. That was the only glimpse you really, well, not the only glimpse, but that was the most glimpse that you ever had of Montana being that comeback player was in his last quarter in college in a bowl game.
Yeah. Well, what? People always have recency bias.
So Cam Ward didn't get to do that because he didn't play a bowl game his senior year in
he chose to sit out, and I get why those guys are sitting out now. I think they need to have some kind of change to that. But I also respect the players saying, you know what, I got a chance to make a buttload of money at the NFL, and I don't want to. I don't want to have a Joe Theismann on this, literal, meaningless bowl game.
And then they don't play the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama anymore.
Yeah, no.
There used to be 2. There used to be 2.
Yeah, there used to be 2 Senior Bowls. You had the North-South and then another one.
Yeah, the North-South is in the Senior Bowl in Mobile, and then the other one is called the East-West Shrine Game.
Yes, I vaguely remember that one, yeah.
And then now that's totally gone.
Oh, all those are going to, all those kind of games are going to disappear because you're not going to bring in the big names anymore because all the big names know they're already going to the league. They don't want to have a chance at injury or anything like that.
Yeah.
Sad, but I understand where the state of the game is now and, how players are going. It is just what the future brings us. And the future will bring us $2 bets and This Day in History coming up next. You are tuned into the Afternoon Underdogs, coming to you live from the CBC Construction Studios, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Taking your hot takes, rants, and takedowns. Let's hear it on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. A likelihood of thunderstorms and mostly clear skies tonight with a low near 80 and a wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Very light rain and likely thunderstorms tomorrow morning and a temperature of 86. About the same in the afternoon and evening around 87 with likely thunderstorms and some sun. Possible thunderstorms Saturday and hot around 88. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hewitt Tire and Auto. Call 850-769-7323. Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing. Visit them online at HewittTire.com. On Airport Road in Panama City. 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
Need a tow? Call Billy at Hometown Towing, 850-265-1562.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
College football is almost here, and you can watch it all. Introducing Scorpion TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN+, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch 400 local network channels from Panama City and most major markets. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. Just $45 a month with our promo code ESPNNW. Go to ESPNPC.com and click the Scorpion TV logo.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. Are you thirsty?
Oh, yeah, baby.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Call or text now.
Hello.
850-215-6290.
Is anyone there?
ESPN Northwest Florida.
You are tuned into the Afternoon Underdogs, coming to you live from the CBC Construction Studios. Visit the website, cbcconstruction.com. We are live on the Red 7T's phone line. You can call us. You can text us, 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Download our app. Take us with you everywhere you go. And right now, if you are a golfer, a fan of golf, or if you need some golf supplies, head on over to Golf Plus. When you walk inside, yell out Inside Drive, and you will get 20% off of hats and shoes that are in stock in the store. So go visit Alan Watson at Golf Plus. Shops at Edgewater. Got a text in on the Red 7T's text line from an 850 number. So local here. So, hey, local guy. Text us back, give us a name so we can add you to our list so we can know who we're talking to. But our listener says, watch the Browns this fall. Quinshawn Judkins coming in along with the other good draft picks. So if we're going to talk, kind of going from a last place to a first place team, the Browns, maybe not a bad pick on that one, though the Ravens could be pretty good out there in the north as well. But we are now into the last segment of the show. We got our $2 bets coming up, and this day in history. So our $2 bets, well, yesterday I got one of my bets right. So the Blue Jays plus 1.5 runs, and Cody Bellinger to get a hit. So that was the Yankees taking on, or the Blue Jays taking on the Yankees. That $2 bet gave me $9.50. So I at least covered all of my losses and made a little bit of cash back on the other ones that I missed. I missed out on the Phillies, and the Rays lost. So those broke my other parlays for the day. Not a whole lot of baseball games tonight, like 4, I think. So light schedule for the MLB tonight. So here are my picks as follow. I got the Tigers to win over the Blue Jays. Just going to take the straight money line on that one. I will take the under on runs at 8.5. I got Vladimir Guerrero with over half a hit. And I got Gleyber Torres for over half a hit. This is a big one. It is $2, but if all of those things come true, I will have $18 coming back to me. The next one that I got on the list, I got the Padres plus 1.5 runs against the St. Louis Cardinals. I will take the under in that game at 8.5. I will take Fernando Tatis Jr. at the over for half a hit, and I got Yu Darvish on the over 4.5 strikeouts. That is a $2 bet, and if it returns to me, it shall be worth $12. And my final bet of the day, I am just picking winners for every single game. So I got the Tigers to win over the Blue Jays. I will take the Padres plus the 1.5 on the Cardinals. I will take the Astros to win over the A's. And I will take the Mariners plus the 1.5 against the Angels. That $2 bet, if it hits, comes to me at $15.53. So, taking a little bit bigger swings here today, going for a little bit more cash monies, but on a light day of sports, sometimes you just got to go for the big reaches just to have some fun.
So what's interesting is that you took the Blue Jays over the Yankees yesterday, but you're taking the Tigers over the Blue Jays today. So you switched off on the Blue Jays, which is really interesting.
Especially right now since they are playing well. But the Tigers had that little skid of 6 games in a row that they lost, and they did win last night. So I'm thinking that the Tigers are rolling back into a win sequence.
That's the one I don't want to touch. I don't want to touch the Tigers, Blue Jays tonight at all.
I didn't really. I thought about it, but just with so few games, I was like, nah, let's go. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
Let's have fun. Yeah. All right, it is this day in history. It is Thursday, July 24th, 2025. Happy Thursday, everyone. And on this day, 1979, Boston Red Sox Carl Yastrzemski hits home run number 400. This day, 1998, Tour de France riders, angered by the drug scandal that has dominated the event, protest by delaying the start of the race for 2 hours. Armin Meyer, a member of the Festina team, was kicked off the tour the previous week, admits a French radio station that he did use a banned drug. This day, 2005, Lance Armstrong wins his 7th consecutive Tour de France. But in the year of 2012, all of his titles were stripped because of doping. Isn't that amazing? We go from 1998 to 2005 with the Tour de France. Riders complaining about drugs in 98, and then in 2005, riders still using drugs. How about that?
So it's exactly 7 years between the protests and then 7 titles in a row for Lance Armstrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that's wild and crazy. They saw it coming.
Yeah, they knew it.
And yeah, that's just nuts.
Well, it's one of those that, yeah, they stripped his titles, and at least they didn't give the victories to anybody else, because guess what? Who else wasn't doing what he was doing?
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it.
They strip Olympic medals and they give it to the next guy down.
Yeah. I mean, and that makes sense as long as you're confident that the next person in line that you're giving it to wasn't cheating in the same form or fashion as the guy that you took it from.
Well, no, they test second and third, but they don't test fourth, I don't think. Or do they?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
And I'm not quite sure how the Olympics works. But I've always wanted to start like an Olympic committee where they drug test everybody just to make sure you're on something. I just think that would be entertaining.
Have like an all steroids league.
Yeah, why not?
See what the human body can do.
I'd turn in, we could get sponsors for this. Absolutely, we could get some sponsors in on that. This day, 2008, Nancy Lieberman makes a 1-game appearance for the Detroit Shock after the 50-year-old Hall of Famer signed a 7-day contract earlier in the day. Lieberman finishes with 2 assists and 2 turnovers, surpassing her own record as the oldest WNBA player in history. Lieberman held that record at the age of 39 in 1997 while playing for the Phoenix Mercury. This day, 2009, Ron Hornaday Jr. holds off a late challenge from Mike Skinner to win the AAA Insurance 200, making him the first driver in NASCAR Camping World Truck Series history to win 4 consecutive races. This day, 2014, Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice receives a 2-game suspension from the NFL following his off-season arrest for domestic violence. And on this day, 2020, we all remember how much fun we were having in 2020. The Toronto Blue Jays name Shallon Field in Buffalo, New York as their temporary home field so they can play baseball games for that season. So that is this day in history. Hopefully we get to see some history tonight and we can talk about it next year. All right, let's. We got about a little bit. Got about a minute.
So I watched a little piece of the Yankees Blue Jays yesterday. It was 4-2. Is that how it ended?
Let's see. It was somewhere near that. Let's see. I got the Yankees right here. Pull that up. No, it ended up being an 8-4 victory for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and the spread was 1.5. You took
it was 1.5.
1.5. So
yeah,
that was easy.
So that was easy.
You beat about 4.
Yeah, that was a nice easy one. Well, end of the show, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thanks for tuning in, hanging out with us. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. For LSU Jeff, for Bone Crusher, this has been James Fife. Afternoon Underdogs. Keep your stick on the ice.
Take ESPN Northwest Florida with you everywhere you go.
Anytime, anyplace, anywhere.
The sports talk and live play-by-play doesn't have to end when you get out of the car. The ESPN Northwest Florida app streams your favorite sports talk hosts and the biggest games in ultra-high fidelity.
This is of utmost importance in travel.
Take the sports talk monster with you anywhere you go. Available for Android and iPhone.
Use it anywhere or any place.
Good evening, this is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. A likelihood of thunderstorms and mostly clear skies tonight with a low near 80 and a wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Very light rain and likely thunderstorms tomorrow morning and a temperature of 86. About the same in the afternoon and evening around 87 with likely thunderstorms and some sun. Possible thunderstorms Saturday and hot around 88. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida.
All them dogs are counting down, about to put the anchor down. Hotty toddy, who's it gonna be? Cowbells and swamp, the ag is wrong. There's nothing like the SEC. The weekend's full of surprises. From Williams Brice to Death Valley. On the Fine Bomb Show, Paul's on the road. If he don't get the best of me, call Paul. He'll make sense of it all. Needles up on Rocky Top, the Razorbacks are hard to stop. War Eagles soared in the wind. Tigers rocking in Missouri. Wildcats are grinning too. Boomer Sooner rolling up again. Well, evil's bound to hook 'em. He'll catch you if you're not looking. Watch out for the tide that's rolling in. The weekend's full of surprises. From big upsets to rivalries. On the Fine Mom Show, heads are gonna roll. If they don't get the best of me, call Paul. He'll make sense of it all. Yeah, call Paul. He'll make sense of it all. Yeah, call
Time running out on some of the media days. We say hello to you on this Thursday. It was just a week ago. We were snug in Atlanta, getting ready to wrap up things there. The ACC is just about over, and the Big Ten has
Lincoln Riley, and a few other coaches. We'll get started right now with some headlines on this Thursday afternoon as the month of July starts to slip away. Bill Conley, college football ifs list, how contenders can come together. We're into that part of the calendar, and we'll talk to Bill coming up here a couple hours. Meanwhile, coaching rankings. Were you wondering who the best coach in the SEC was? I was. Who's the second best? That we'll discuss in just a moment. And Eli Drinkwitz has a new deal, but it does not appear to include a raise. He's now, again, how many of you at home right now are driving home or still at work, out there cutting grass, working on pipes, working on factory goods? Would you like to be called into your boss and say, listen, I can't give you a raise, but you're still going to make $9 million this year, 9.25 next 2 years, and then in 28 and 29 we'll bump you up to 9.5 million. Would you be disappointed? His assistant coaches make money. Would you call your husband? Would you call your wife? Would you call your kids and say, man, I didn't get the raise. I'm stuck at $9 million. How can you go to Costco on that? Anyway, let's talk about the coaches with our friend Brad Crawford right now as we get deep into his list. Brad, thank you very much for the time. So, did you ever consider for even a moment to maybe kick Kirby Smart out of that top spot?
For me, I didn't. This is a cumulative list of all of our analysts at CBS Sports. I kind of put it together on the SEC side. And, I mean, Kirby has won 2 national championships. He has shown that even with a team that maybe wasn't elite last season, still won the SEC. Did not look good in New Orleans, Paul, against Notre Dame, but that's why they played the games. 2025, Georgia was not talked about all that much last week in Atlanta at SEC Media Days, but certainly that's some locker room material for Kirby Smart.
So let's talk about who else is on this list, and certainly one of the big stories is Sarkisian. There was a time when we weren't even sure he was a good coach. Would he make it? He didn't make it at USC. He bounced around a little bit after that. He had a good start at Washington. So let's go through what you and your colleagues had to say in relation to Sarkisian being obviously next in line.
Yeah, he's the only coach in college football, Paul, who has made it to back-to-back college football playoff semifinal appearances. And really, had they had better execution, Texas that is, in the red zone against Washington 2 years ago, maybe they'd have played Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. And then last year, they had that critical turnover against Ohio State in Dallas and lost that game. So Steve Sarkisian, he's sort of on the door of his first national title at Texas. That could come this season with Arch Manning at quarterback, and he is just killing it right now in recruiting. He's even beaten Kirby Smart for a couple 5-stars here in recent weeks.
So, Brad, I'm going to sound like a caller from Plaquemine Parish, Louisiana, and go, Brad, how in the world can you put Brian Kelly number 3? He hasn't done anything. I mean, what's going on here? We've had a few calls like that, including yesterday. Answer those critics of Brian Kelly, who I happen to think is an elite coach. I'm assuming your team agrees.
I do too. I mean, the career winning percentage speaks for itself. He's almost 500 career against top 25 teams. One of only 3 SEC coaches, Paul, right now in his career that has a winning record against top 25 teams. And look, in year 1 at LSU a couple years ago, he made it to Atlanta, lost to Georgia in title game. I think he has the roster this season to get back to the national championship game. He had that last appearance in Notre Dame. We know how that went about 14 years ago with Manny Te'o against Alabama. It did not go well. But Brian Kelly is due to get back there. The last 3 LSU coaches we know have won national championships in Baton Rouge. 2 of those guys, by the way, have done it in year 4, and that was Ed Orgeron and Les Miles. So Brian Kelly, LSU fans and boosters pushed all the chips to the center of the table this offseason, and they had the top-ranked transfer portal class. So he knows he has to win now.
It has been a while, Brad, since Alabama had the 4th best coach in the SEC. If you had told me a year ago that Kalen DeBoer was ranked number 4 in the country, this is before his first game at Alabama, I may have said, that seems too low. I mean, this is an elite coach. So what's going on now with Kalen DeBoer, who not only remains the same in the SEC, but I think he dropped to number 9 on your national list?
Yeah, I think his stock price maybe fell a little bit after last season. Certainly that ugly showing at Oklahoma last November that kept Bama out of the playoff did not do him any service in his first season. But I do think Bama bounces back in 2025. He has Ryan Grubb, sort of the full brain trust now in Tuscaloosa, his former OC at Washington, spent last season with the Seahawks. He's back to call plays for Bama. And I think Alabama will be better at the quarterback position. Jalen Milroe, we know how well he ran the football last season, but at times that Crimson Tide passing game was really handcuffed back there. I think Ty Simpson has sort of a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to show it with a better offensive scheme this fall.
I'm not going to go down every because, I mean, some of the ones in the middle are pretty obvious. I mean, where do you put Lane Kiffin, Josh Heupel, Shane Beamer moves up? At number 10, you have Mark Stoops, and I seem to remember it wasn't long ago that Mark Stoops was considered an elite, not elite, but one of the better coaches in the country on the top 15, 20 list. He now ranks 10th in your poll, 36 overall. What in the world does his future look like to you?
Yeah, his importance in Lexington, too, Paul, is starting to wane a little bit. You know, some of the good graces he had a couple of years ago when he won 10 games for a second time, it seems some of that has fallen flat. He keeps talking about Kentucky basketball and how that's still the focus in the Bluegrass, but Mark Stoops needs to prove it this fall. You know, 2 years ago, he almost got the A&M job. It's no secret, Paul, that Jimmy Sexton, Mark Stoops' agent, has sort of been sending feelers out the last couple cycles. I don't know if Mark Stoops is looking to leave Kentucky, but it certainly will look that way, which is what has happened these last couple carousels. So I think Mark Stoops is a coach that's probably going to endure another 4-8, type 5-7 finish this season, and probably going to be lower than 10th in our postseason SEC rankings at CBS.
These next couple are really weird. You have Billy Napier, number 11 in the SEC. The idea of a Florida football coach ranked number 11, well, quite a bit to get used to there. He was 13, so he's moving up. He's ranked 45th overall. Hugh Freeze, number 12. He's the 47th ranked coach in the CBS poll. I don't even have a question. I just want you to help me out here. Explain those two and what the future looks like for both of them.
So personally, I have Billy Napier closer to the top 25. I still believe in that Florida hire from a couple of years ago. What he did at Louisiana was, I mean, it was nice, a couple of conference championships, but he has to show it in the SEC. He did last November, took the reins off of freshman quarterback DJ Lagway, expects him to be an all-SEC type performer in 2025. And if Billy Napier can once again conquer one of the nation's toughest schedules, I think you're going to see his stock rise a little bit. And we mentioned Hugh Freeze. I mean, back-to-back lackluster seasons on the Plains, which followed Brian Harsin. Boosters didn't like that hire either. And Hugh Freeze with Brent Venables probably number 2. Both those guys are on extremely hot seats, Paul. And with as much talent as Auburn signed in the portal, Hugh Freeze has got to win this season, starting with Jackson Arnold as his new quarterback.
Listen, we know the SEC is difficult. Let's look ahead a little bit because everyone can't be in the upper division. So if you're looking for schools that are either moving up or moving down, where would you narrow the focus, knowing how difficult Florida's schedule is? You know, you mentioned Auburn there. That middle is dangerous because if you don't move up, you're falling down. So who's in that group and who could go either way?
Yeah, the middle is dangerous. I mean, Shane Beamer's already beaten 3 top 10 teams in his career at South Carolina. And 3 of those games, he was a double-digit underdog. He's done so with lesser talent than a lot of the teams he's beaten. I think Shane Beamer has a chance to sort of rise his stock value this fall. Obviously, Gamecocks are a team that had the first team preseason All-SEC quarterback in Lenora Sellers. A lot of us are looking to see kind of the next step he takes as a second-year quarterback. So Shane Beamer's a guy that I would buy stock in right now as maybe a coach who leads that program this fall to its first playoff appearance.
Well, we got a few, 45 minutes before Wall Street closes. The smart traders wait till the last second. Who are you dumping at the close today on Wall Street?
That's a tough question. I'm probably going to sell some stock on Eli Drinkwitz. You know, he had a lot of jokes last week, kind of the fan favorite like he always is at SEC Media Days. I'm just not sure that the offseason signing of Bro Prebulic, quarterback, former backup, Drew Aller at Penn State, I don't know if Missouri can win 10 games again with what I saw them get in the portal. Maybe I'm wrong. Missouri does open the season with 6 consecutive home games, Paul. I don't know how that, got past Greg Sankey's desk.
Wow. Everybody loves Eli Drinkwitz, but he let a game or two get away at the end of last season. He still got the contract extension, which, Brad, you and I know means absolutely nothing right now. It just means you have a good agent. You were able to go into the AD he has a new one and say, my guy might leave, so let's pop a few more years. So as far as winning the SEC, are you with everyone